Okay, so first up is the thumbnails. Of course, the first thing to consider is the dimensions. If your image is the wrong size, it might get cropped in too close, or you might have little black edges, which is obviously no good. So first of all, make sure your thumbnail has the right dimensions. Once that basic thing is considered, you want to have a look at how it's going to appear. Statistically, faces are much more likely to be clicked in images. So if you can have your face or a cartoon face or something really animated like a surprised, excited face, that's much more likely to be clicked. Then I also like to put some text over the top. As you can see here, quite a few of mine have like a coloured background rectangle behind them to make them stand out really nicely. I do that in Photoshop, but you can easily do the same thing in Word. Another really good tool, again, is PicMonkey and Canva. They make beautiful images with slightly more unusual fonts that really stands out nicely. So consider using those as an amazing free tool if you don't want to invest in Photoshop. You should try and make your thumbnails consistent across your channel. So you can see most of mine use the same font, the same rectangle image with the coloured rectangle behind the font. And you might want to have always a red border around the edge, or always use the same colours, or perhaps always use the same background with a cutout image on top. It's really nice if you can build a brand across the whole of YouTube, but also when they look at your channel, it'll look professional because everything's matching. It's kind of like a curated Instagram feed. So try and have a specific style that you stick to across your videos. As I said, a lot of people use a face, but some people also do a collage. For example, if it's a weekly vlog, you might have a collection of pictures, screenshots from what happened in that week. Or you also might do a zoomed in thing. So for example, on my shoes one, I've got just a picture of one of the shoes and then the text at the side explaining what it is. So it depends what the theme is of the video, but I personally would recommend a face where possible. You're only allowed up to 100 characters on your image, so that's just a little side thing to consider. 100 characters is quite a lot, and I would recommend you stick to more like 20 to make sure the text is nice and big because the thumbnails can be very small. But just as a side note, 100 is the official limit. The best way for me to get my thumbnail pictures, of course you can just screenshot the video once it's in action, but I really like at the end of filming my video to do something a little bit cringe where you pose the thumbnail photos. And then I screenshot those. You might think you can just screenshot your video, but when you're talking, there's never a good pause moment and you're always pulling a slightly odd face. So what I like to do is at the end of the video, spend a few seconds just holding up the products and going like posing these thumbnail pictures. So I'm holding stuff up, I'm like smiling, or I'm looking away, or pulling a face. And they're just a few like stationary pose silent images, and then from that you can screenshot it and get the thumbnail that you need. That's really worth investing your time in rather than trying to pull screenshots out of the active video, because you're bound to find it's really hard to pause yourself in a flattering position.